When it says 40 reporters kidnapped and dozens murdered during this time.
There's also a similar number of people who've been kidnapped. May 15th, 2017, he was shot dead. And they had a bunch of not only AKs and AR-15s, they had grenades strapped to them, and they had bullets, like Pancho Villa style, like bullets across their chests and stuff. And I was photographing these guys, and they were going to be kind of joking, and it was okay. And then this guy turns up and he says,
are warning of a widespread cybersecurity attack.
Frustrations and delays have continued as countless are still without power.
Market volatility is at its highest since the pandemic.
There are a number of reports across the state.
An unidentified crash. There is no doubt our grid is at risk.
The shark is entering its airspace.
When it says 40 reporters kidnapped and dozens murdered during this time, is that something you're familiar with? You've seen some of the local reporters being kidnapped and murdered?
Sorry, see that number there, I think it's now higher. The number was, I think, 40 confirmed murders in total in Culiacan in the week since it kicked off. It's a lot more dead than that, and it's already gone higher than that. It's already about 50 now. But it was about 40. They're confirmed bodies that they've got believed to be from the turf war. As well as that, there's also a similar number of people who've been kidnapped. So a lot of people just getting grabbed to the streets. But a lot of this stuff is stuff that's unreported. Now, there's also violence kicking off in Culiacan itself, and I was riding around with the local cop reporters. They call them Nota Roja, the red news, going around, photographing the dead bodies and stuff, people who are real. They were moving around in the city during daytime. It's okay to move around. They generally won't move around during the night because it's considered too dangerous to go around to these things during the night. And they generally won't go to the scenes outside of the main urban area because they feel it's just no security. So if you drive to, if anybody there familiar with this area, there's places called El Dorado. There's places called Saladito. There's places, all these different smaller villages and stuff around. They feel it's just no security. So a lot of deaths are happening out there we don't even know about. Now, in terms of violence against the reporters generally, there's been huge amounts of violence against journalists over the years. While I was in Culiacan, one of the sons of one of the top reporters was kidnapped and held. He made a public plea for him to be released, and he was released. Now, he likely wasn't kidnapped in connection with his dad's work. He was probably kidnapped for being a young guy for different things, and he was released. But there's been in Mexico, in the time I've been in Mexico, more than 150 journalists have been murdered.
Holy smoke.
In Culiacan, a guy I knew called Javier Valdez, great journalist, great reporter. In 2017, May 15th, 2017, he was shot dead right outside his office in that city as well, Culiacan. Attacks on journalists is a big concern. It's been a big concern for a lot of years, yeah.
How about for you personally? Do you ever get death threats or fear for your life?
Well, there's two things. There's one is stuff that happens in the field, and then there's also worry about what you to publish, how this can affect people, and how they're going to react to these things. So all the time, every time I publish a story, I'm always concerned about, okay, how much can I say? I can't say everything always, because you think, do I want to mention that guy's name? Is that going to be real pissed about this if I mention his name, or this or that? But you got to report. In the field, I've had various incidents over the years. One of the worst was going back a decade in Michoacan. I was with a bunch of guys, about 50 guys, who they called themselves a self-defense squad, which is like these vigilantes who were meant to be fighting the cartels. But I realized very quickly these guys were like cartel guys themselves. And they had a bunch of not only AKs and AR-15s, they had grenades strapped to them, and they had bullets like Pancho Villa style, like bullets across their chests and stuff. And I was photographing these guys, and they were going to be kind of joking, and it was okay. And then this guy turns up and he says, "What are you letting this guy take your photograph from? He's DEA. This guy's DEA." And he said, "Oh no, my brother was arrested and by DEA, and they pretended to be journalists." And I said, "Look, I'm not even American. I'm British, and I'm a journalist." And I don't know if it makes that much difference to them in that moment. But then I kind of showed my website and stuff, and the guy calmed down a bit, and he said, "If I see you here again, I'm going to put a bullet in your head. I'm going to throw a grenade at you." It's the way he said this stuff. And I left, and this whole crew went off after that and got in a big gunfight with some other gangsters. And at the time it happened, I just felt pissed with myself. It's like I could have been with them and got the images of the gunfight, and I just missed it out and I messed up. And I was almost like angry at myself for being chased out of the scene at that moment. But there's been various things that have happened. I've been held up, and I've been had people phone up my hotel and being followed, and a bunch of stuff's happened over the years. Yeah,
It's wild. That's how I always think about you guys who are down there in Mexico who are doing